Yo, what is up guys? How are you doing today? I'm bringing you a new video today about how to properly spec your skills on a Berserker. I'm going to talk about what are the bare minimum skills that you need and then where you should be focusing after you start obtaining extra skill points once you get enough for your main skills. So we're going to start off with a brand new skill tree. I reset everything. I have a lot of skill points, but you by no means are going to need anywhere close to this to properly PvP as a Berserker or PvE. The first thing we're going to talk about today is our Awakening. When you get level 56, your Pre-Awakening is less of a focus than your Awakening in general. Honestly, this is one of the easier sections of the video. You just want to have everything. Blasting is part of my main combo in PvP. I'm going to be making a combo guide here in the future on YouTube. If you're watching this later, then it's probably already out. So you're going to want to have your blasting fully leveled up. The next thing you're going to want is your Flame Buster fully leveled up. It's very useful when you've Q buffed or even just for peppering damage into a crowd. So definitely have that leveled up. Your Devastation is a PvE grinder and a PvP slow or a super armor in large scale. You're going to want that. Your Titan Blow is quite useful for 1vxing in your Q buff stance, so definitely level that up fully. Also, the damage scales from Ancient Wave on this ability, so it says 7 times that of Titan Blow's damage, so you really want it for the Ancient Wave. Speaking of which, you get your Ancient Wave, your Split Shot, your Earth Dividing. You just want all of these skills. They're all useful in every situation, and you're just going to want all of them, right? So once you have all of your Awakening skills, you can see that we've used approximately, let's say, a little over 700 skill points, or perhaps a little over 800. That's going to be, it's going to make you pretty comfortable in this situation to even do relatively well in PvP and PvE by just having these. A lot of your 1v1s, you're going to be staying in Awakening. In large scale, you're basically almost exclusively in Awakening. So, yeah, it's just important to get all of these. Let's move on to more of the obscure things and talk about our Pre-Awakening. So, one of the first things that I would level up in your Pre-Awakening is all the way at the bottom here. You're going to want to get your full Seizing Fear all the way to XX. So, what Seizing Fear does is it gives you accuracy rate and critical hit rate, and it alternates between each one of these. In the end, it's going to give you 10 critical hit rate and 5% accuracy. It's really valuable to have, so we're going to want all of these. The next thing that we want to focus on is getting our HP up. So this is going to make us more tankier, obviously, and it's quite a significant amount of HP for a very cheap amount of skill points. We're also going to want our Skilled Hunter all the way leveled up. So you can see here that we focused on our Seizing Fear and our Skilled Hunter. These are going to help you for your grinding. So even though it might be pretty expensive in the beginning, you're really not going to be PvPing as much while you're grinding, and these are going to help you a lot. So I'd focus on those first. Okay, back up to the top. You're never going to need Ultimate Elastic Force or Absolute Elastic Force. Our attack damage in our auto attacks kind of got nerfed a little bit, and there's just better options. This used to be a meta, but it's no longer. But what you really do want is you want to make sure that you have your evasion unlocked as well as ultimate evasion. This is useful for what we taught you in the last video about how to move around in Pre-Awakening. So I would definitely have ultimate evasion. Now, let's start focusing on your PvE grinding first, because I think that if you're really struggling on skill points, it's going to be more beneficial to have your PvE grind set up so that you can grind and get more skill points. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is get your Frenzy Destroyer as leveled up as possible. So Frenzy Destroyer is a spammable ability, and the last hit is what we're really looking for. And it is a lot of skill points, but they're pretty modest as you go around, but they do add up. But it's worth having, and you do not need the Ultimate Frenzy Destroyer or the Quaking Fury. So you can save yourself an extra 50 skill points right there by not leveling those up. You just need the Absolute. Alright, so the second thing you're going to want is your Storming Beast. Storming Beast we follow up with after our Frenzied Destroyer. So we would do Frenzied Destroyer and click F for Storming Beast. It has a pretty decent AoE and it's great for farming squishy mobs. So I would definitely level up the absolute version of that. Now, Ultimate Storming Beast you're going to need as well to activate in certain situations. It makes it very fluid after, for example, an E-grab or after your Frenzy Destroyer. So you're going to want this for future combos. You can opt to not level it up in the beginning, but honestly, I would just pick it up. It's 15 skill points, and yeah, you're probably gonna enjoy having it more than you would enjoy having 15 skill points. So realistically, we have just completely spec'd ourselves out with the exception of our Lava Piercer, which we're definitely going to want to focus on getting. So you want to level this up all the way. It's going to allow you to travel further, and it's your main engage to get between packs. Other PvE skills that you could consider having, you could have one Beast Roar and one Wrath of Beast to heal yourself in PvE if you're getting damaged, if you have low DP. That's a consideration, so maybe we'll take one of these for now if we're really lacking on skill points. We also have our Fearsome Tyrant, which is a heal, and we do have our Raging Thunder, but this is a very expensive skill to level up all the way, so I would not focus on getting it in the beginning, just because this is a very minimal skill build that we're working with right now. Okay, so honestly, this is everything that we really need to start grinding as a Berserker. We've only used about, I guess a little over 1,200 skill points at this point, and we're pretty much fully ready to grind at the same capacity that I would normally grind at in squishy mobs. So we're going to be using all of our Preawakening skills, we're going to use our Devastation, we're going to use our Slugfest, we're going to use our Blasting. All of these skills we're using in PvE, and whenever they're on cooldown, we're going to be using our Frenzy Destroyer, Storming Beast to kill these squishy mobs. So definitely, that's really all you need is just a little over 1,200 and you're fully spec'd up for PvE. So now let's start talking about higher end gameplay and higher end grinding to keep on the same topic as that. So in the higher end grinding, you're going to want some nice to haves. Now, your first nice to have is going to be your spin to win. Now, this is called Raging Thunder. You want to level this one up all the way. It's a very useful PvE skill. You would want to go all the way to absolute Raging Thunder. It's a ton of skill points, but it's something you're going to use in the end game, and it's something that you can use for squishy mobs or perhaps even a little bit tankier mobs because it does have a very long duration. Additionally, leveling this up is going to give you access to having your Feral Rage in the future. So I would definitely focus on getting this one next for PvE. Additionally, you can start spending some more skill points on Shake Off. This is going to help you get between packs without using stamina as much. You can see it starts at 300 required stamina and it goes all the way down to 200. So this is very useful for stamina management, but it is not necessary in the beginning. And then now we can start getting things like our heals leveled up a little bit more. This is okay to use in PvE, I would say, but it's something that we're going to need for one of our Rabombs, so we're going to level it up for now. It's mostly just a heal, but it does have some AoE a little bit. I wouldn't really recommend grinding with it, but we need it for something in the future, so let's just level this up for now. We want to go, I guess, all the way is fine. We're starting to get into more of an intermediate build and maybe focusing more on the PvP side of things at the same time. So we're getting those fully, and now we can get our spin. So we learned that. It's a very useful skill to have in PvE. It's a large AoE. And let's look at what we need for our second Rabomb. Our second Rabomb, we're going to want to get Wailing Beast right over here. So it looks like we're going to require our heal to be leveled up. So we're going to get that heal up to at least level 3. If you really have the skill points burning a hole in your pocket, you could level it up to absolute. So we'll choose that and we'll go and get Wailing Beast. Now, Wailing Beast is a heal and a super armor. It's very useful for your grinding as well because it quickly pulls mobs together. And so if you have a pack that's exceptionally spread out, it immediately pulls all those mobs together like in an instant. So it's certainly worth using in a lot of aspects for PvE. All right, so the next thing we really need for PvE is kind of nothing really, I don't think. Yeah, we've pretty much gotten all of our skills to have a very high level of PvE here. I can't really think of anything else that we need. We're fully ready to go for our PvE, and we have used in the neighborhood of around 1,600 or 1,700 skill points. And we're really not that far off from our full PvP build. So you're going to want all of these skills for your PvP build as well. So I would say that this is the point where we can start really focusing on getting some nice to haves for PvP. All right, we'll start from the top. You want to level up your grabs all the way for PvP. So we're going to have your absolute smackdown fully leveled up. Then keeping up with the grab thing, we're going to need our Corpse Storm. It's not a super useful grab, but it's a last-ditch effort to maybe get a grab on a target. We're also going to want to get our Undertaker at least to level 3. Level 3 has 10% extra max HP extra damage, and it does not occur on the absolute Undertaker, so they typically do the same amount of damage in general. Even if this one's a little bit more, it's so unnoticeable because the skill doesn't do damage anyway, you may as well save those skill points. Moving right along, Tackling Rock you will only need if you plan on leveling up this Feral Stampede ability. I personally don't use this one because there are different things I can do in PvP, and this is a purely PvP skill. And I choose Feral Rage, so I will not choose to level this up basically ever. Falling Rock, you're never going to need it. Your grab here, Rock Smash, we are going to need all the way leveled up to Absolute. Your Weakling Hunt, we don't need. Beastly Wind Slash, that's not a focal point for you right now. In fact, I often choose to lock it because I just feel that it messes up my combos a lot. In the future, you can level it up to Extreme and get the movement speed plus 20%, but for right now, we're just getting bare minimums. So we're going to leave that for now. Fierce Strike used to be a very relevant ability. It is no longer. I don't think you should focus on getting this leveled up. It's a very SP hungry set of skills here, as well as Claw Scar. You don't need that for right now. Moving right along, we've already spec'd into Frenzy Destroyer. This is a great one for PvP as well as PvE. Alright, so Predatory Hunt, we're going to skip over it for right now. It's sort of a super armor filler. It's something I'm definitely using a lot against non-grab classes, but I'm not going to spec into it for right now just to save some skill points. Your Fearsome Tyrant, we really don't need to level that one up for PvE, PvP right now, so we'll just keep on going down, and we basically reach the bottom of the skill tree. So given this current build, you're basically able to PvP at some of the highest levels right now. You're going to have no problem in large scale, small scale 1v1s, and we have used around 1,700 or basically 1,800 skill points. So you're at a point now where we're just getting extras, stuff that you kind of want but are not super necessary. Okay, so back up to the top of the skill tree here. Headbutt is a very niche skill, I would say. It's a very advanced thing to use, and there's a nasty way that you can headbutt spam if you have the Stone Bash combo. So right here, Stone Bash Flow. If you have this ability, you can do some pretty nasty headbutt combos that are very useful against evasion classes, but it's very niche for classes that are using evasion. In general, I wouldn't focus on getting your headbutt right away, so we'll just do a quick skim downwards. You still don't need Absolute Undertaker, you still do not need Tackling Rock, you're not going to need Falling Rock or Weakling Hunt. Beastly Wind Slash you can totally negate for now. You don't need Fierce Strike, Claw Scar. You still don't need these, but we are going to take Predatory Hunt. So we want to get the absolute Predatory Hunt. It does pretty decent damage, but it's not something that you use for the damage. You use it for the super armor as well as the knockdown. Alright, so you're going to also want to get your Fearsome Tyrant fully leveled up. You may as well. It's not going to do a whole ton of damage while you're healing, but you may as well just have it fully leveled up because we're starting to really get into high-end builds here. Alright, back up to the top. We still have skill points to go. I'm going to choose to have my Headbutt fully leveled up because it is something that I'm going to use for that Headbutt spam that we were talking about earlier. We do not need Ultimate Headbutt. I do not think we need that. I'm going to have to do some testing on that, but I don't believe we need Ultimate Headbutt for what the normal combo is that we use. Going down to the flows. So I am going to want the Stone Bash flow right here, which means that we're going to need Fierce Strike 3 at least for the Stone Bash flow. Now this is how we're going to be able to do our Headbutt spam. So I'm going to go ahead and get Stone Bash, wherever that may be. Okay, Fierce Strike 3. And then now we can get Stone Bash. Perfect. Alright, so the way that we utilize Stone Bash is we make sure that we have our Alchemy Stone on for starters. We make sure we have 5 attack speed. What we're going to need to do is also get as many attack speed bonuses as we possibly can. So attack speed plus 20% is another useful one. On my E-Grab, I have attack speed plus 4%. You can see right here, all attack speed plus 4%. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold W and right click, and we're going to tap F continuously. And what it's going to do is it's going to headbutt this dummy, the scarecrow, continuously. And Headbutt itself, it's a skill that has 20% accuracy rate. It also gives you melee accuracy rate plus 15%, so it's really an evasion killer. And this is essentially what it looks like. It takes a lot of practice, but in general, it's worth learning, I would say. So you could see there at the beginning, I was sort of messing up a lot, but right at the end there, I got into a pretty nice flow. That's what it's supposed to look like. I'll do it once more. Hopefully I can get it a little bit cleaner, but it does take a lot of focus for sure. And yeah, so that's basically what it looks like. If you're interested in how quickly I'm tapping F, it's a really tough thing to teach you because it's going to depend on your attack speed bonuses. It's all the way as specific as whether or not you have a 5% attack speed bonus on your Vels, or if you have your Awakening available, how much FPS you have. But in general, I'm tapping F pretty frequently. It probably is in the neighborhood of F, 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 just like that, and it just does the headbutt over and over again. It's really, really good damage, worth using for sure against evasion targets. And honestly, that's kind of it. I guess we could start working on getting our Beastly Wind Slash for the movement speed. So we can level this up to get our ultimate Beastly Wind Slash. Not letting this go, it's locked. Okay, so we get that. Extreme Beastly Wind Slash, and then that's when we get our movement speed right here. Also, we need the flow because the flow is used right after one of our abilities, so we're going to want the flow for sure. And then Hell, I mean, you don't really need Absolute Beastly Wind Slash. You're never going to use it for damage. Ultimate Beastly Wind Slash, you are going to need as well for the flow, so we're going to take that. And now, I just kind of have skill points burning a hole in my pocket. I don't really use any other form of anything else for my main combos. But Sometimes I will use Fear Strike in PvE just for a last hit on a History mob or something like that. So I guess we may as well level it up all the way. Like that. And Claw Scar, it's just a bleed. It's not super big of an idea of a thing to have, so hell, we'll get a couple levels and now we have no skill points. So in the very high end, this is what my normal build is going to look like. But in general, it's super excessive, and I'm honestly just looking for excuses to spend skill points on a lot of these things. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I hopefully found a little bit of clarity for you here in how to build your skills. And in the future, I'm going to be talking about how to do certain combos. And it'll make a lot more sense as to why I spec into these skills, because it'll show you the PvE side of things and the PvP side of things and why these things are useful. Alright guys, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. The next video I think I'm going to make is going to be on mouse movements, how to use your click to move and do certain abilities and things of that nature. So if you're interested in tuning into that one, hopefully it's going to be up for you guys next week. And yeah, see you guys later.